Good evening. Welcome to the stream. I'm Dave Knapp, man on the Mounjaro. That's why I'm here. You are on the pen. That's why you're here. Wegovy, Saxenda, Victoza, Trulicity, Zepbound, that pen is what we talk about here. And tonight we are talking about the Oprah special on GLP-1 medications, obesity, and stigma, all of that. And we're talking about what my thoughts were and what your thoughts were. So let me know in the chat if you're here. If you're new here, put an N in the chat next to your name. Let me know that you're new here. I'd love to welcome you by name. Welcome to Sabrina members, Cheryl, Michelle, Gigi, Terrence, and Marty. Thank you for being here. The rest of you, as you come in, let me know that you're here. So we're talking a little bit about the Oprah special tonight. I just wanted to give you my reaction to it, my thoughts on it, and where we go from here. So first of all, I think it's important context to know that Oprah this past week announced her departure from the Weight Watchers board. And in the beginning of this special, we basically got a little sort of sidebar with Oprah where she said, hey, I left Weight Watchers. I wanted to be able to do this show. And I wanted to show that there was no impropriety. First of all, I don't know why there would have been any impropriety for her to have a show and be sitting on the board of Weight Watchers. So I struggled with that. Second of all, she went to great lengths to tell us that she was divested from Weight Watchers and there was no conflict of interest. And then she interviewed Seema Sistani, the CEO of Weight Watchers. So read between the lines, right? This was definitely a PR move on Weight Watchers' part. Oprah divesting for whatever her reasons ultimately are, but I'm sure it was not so that she could just do this one special. I'm sure there's more in the works, but that's really secondary. I think it's just important context to know that that's kind of where we were operating from. So if you were hoping to have some hard-hitting information about accessibility and cost of these medications, that wasn't it. There was members of Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk brass in the audience. They were invited at the end. They didn't have a whole lot to say because, of course, those are the questions on everybody's mind, right? So you get that all out of the way. You understand the context of what's going on here. Then we can talk about the greater show and the content that was shared. And I have to say, and let me know in the chat what your thoughts were if you happened to watch it earlier. The information on obesity alone as a disease was absolutely phenomenal in this show. My own personal opinion on it is that it gets the idea of obesity as a disease and the science behind that into the mainstream conversation so that we can start talking to the world outside of the echo chamber of social media. Over here on YouTube and over on TikTok, largely the content that is made in the obesity space, in the weight loss community, and in the incretin mimetic therapy community as well, stays sort of in this bubble. Very rarely does this content get out into the general conversation, right? I'm hoping that conversations like this one on Oprah's special tonight can change that. And I think that the science presented within the context of this special was really, really, really good. The stories that were shared were compelling. There were elements of virtually every story that I think anybody who's struggled with obesity can grab onto and understand. And I'm excited for the outside world to experience a little bit of that and to learn a little bit from those experiences. All of that said, I think this is where my main frustration lies. So we are sitting at a point in the advent of these, let's call them super effective incretin mimetic treatments. We're at the advent of it, and virtually everyone who's on these medications struggles each month to find their dose, to fight their insurance for the dose. And currently, the biggest issue that people are having across the board, just universally, is finding the dose that they're on and being able to get that in a timely manner. You have many people who are looking at other options outside of branded medications. You have many people who are driving hours and hours to pick their medication up, maybe even sometimes across state lines. They're trying to pick up their medication. It's crazy. It's the wild, wild west out there. And so the idea of shining a light on GLP-1 medication specifically during this time is rather frustrating, because right now it is a very challenging time to be a user of GLP-1 medications, because what we're being subjected to right now, if you're on any of these medications, what most of us are being subjected to is the prospect of either going off this medication for longer than the 7-day period that you're supposed to take your medication. Some people are going 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. I've heard somebody who's been 2 months without their medication, waiting on a fill of their dose of their medication. What does that do to somebody? These things were not tested in clinical trials. What does it do to somebody to have to go from a 12.5 dose down to a 7.5 dose because that's all that they could find? What does that do to somebody's physiology? What are the implications of that from somebody's health from that standpoint? We don't have trials that tell us this, yet we have these companies continuing to market their products, continuing to launch these products in foreign markets while they're unable to serve the market that they're currently in. And to me, that is an issue that we need some answers for. And I really think that we need to make an impassioned plea on behalf of everyone in the community to Eli Lilly to launch their single dose vials in the United States of Mounjaro. I really think that that needs to happen. I think if they don't, I think we deserve to know why that isn't, because I think that this is a huge problem. And I here's the difference between, maybe me and Eli Lilly, people answering phone calls in a call center, is I talk to thousands of people every day who are on these medications. These are real people with real lives, driving real miles to find their medication, calling 90 pharmacies in a day. I heard from one person, 90 pharmacies to try to find their medication, driving across state lines, 3 hours in the car. I mean, it's inexcusable. Release the vials. Release the vials, Eli Lilly. And if you're not going to, we want answers as to why. We ought to know, because this is a huge deal. This is a huge deal that people are struggling with this. And of course, they're going to be looking into alternative routes, and that's a whole separate conversation. But that's my impassioned plea. If you catch the podcast this week, you're going to get a little bit more of that. I go into a little bit more in depth into the whole how Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk have sort of handled these differently. And I think it's your move, Eli Lilly. Let's see how you handle this. You were smart enough to think ahead of time and get the single dose vials approved by the FDA. The approval's sitting there. Let's hear it. Eli Lilly just told the UK, we can launch next week if you approve the adjustable pen. That tells me it's not an API problem. It's a pen manufacturing problem. So, the ball is in their court. And I really think this is an opportunity for Eli Lilly to live up to the culture of their company, to really live who they say they are, launch the single dose vials. That's our impassioned plea. So all in all, the Oprah special, to kind of get it back on the rails here, the Oprah special, I think, was, a bit of a puff piece, a bit of a PR piece. Let's call it a PR piece for Weight Watchers. But the information baked within the Oprah special was fantastic. The take on medication in the treatment of obesity as a disease, as a metabolic disorder in all patient populations, I think was a great addition to the conversation. So I will gladly talk a little bit more about this week on the Pen. Tune in every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Central Time on the Pen Live. It happens every week. Such a great community. 10% of all the gifts given on my live streams and on my videos, and 10% of all of the membership dues that I collect every month from the members, 10% of that is going to go back to one member at the end of the month to help them defray the cost of their medication. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being the best part of what I do at On the Pen with Man on the Mounjaro. I appreciate each and every one of you for stopping in tonight on this live stream recap of the Oprah special tonight. Anna, Gigi, Sue the Dude, good to see you. Matt, Anna, Sabrina, Emmy, good to see you. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for supporting the work that I do. And I can't wait to see you all on Thursday night as we will welcome our friend Corey from the TikTok community to share her story, her journey to GLP-1s and content creation. But until next week, we will see you all on the pen.